My name is Josephine Lang, and until recently, I would have scoffed at the thought of a near-death experience altering my beliefs. As an environmental scientist rooted in empirical evidence and rigorous data, my world revolved around the tangible, the quantifiable. But what happened to me on November 14th, 2023, shifted the axis of my understanding in ways I never imagined possible. That day began like any other crisp autumn morning in the Rockies. The forecast promised clear skies for a perfect hike, offering a temporary escape from my busy research schedule in Denver. I had set out alone, eager to lose myself in the raw beauty of nature. By mid-afternoon, the sun filtered through the branches overhead, casting serene patterns along the trail. Everything felt peaceful, just as it should. My heart was light, buoyed by the familiar sense of pine and the tranquility only wilderness can provide. And then everything changed. The path beneath me gave way, and in an instant I was plummeting down a steep ravine. Yet what transpired in those ensuing moments was nothing short of extraordinary, steering the course of my life towards an awakening I never sought, but now feel compelled to share. The ground slipped from under my feet, and a gasp escaped my lips as gravity took control. As I tumbled down the steep trail, time seemed to stretch and contract, a surreal dance against the backdrop of blurred earth and sky. Within what felt like mere seconds, I was suddenly detached from the chaos. My body lay motionless among the jagged rocks, tangled in the debris of my fall. Yet, impossibly, I hovered above, an invisible observer. Marvel and detachment intertwined within me like vines, weaving through the tapestry of my awareness. I watched, devoid of fear, as though the tangible Josephine was but a distant memory. My sight shifted, drawn upwards as the world around me dissolved into something magnificent. Gone were the familiar peaks of the Rockies. Instead, I was enveloped by nature's majesty, yet unlike anything I had ever seen. The transition was seamless. One moment I was bound to the earth, and the next I was tethered to an ethereal realm. It was as though every vibrant hue of every sunrise and sunset coalesced into a breathtaking panorama stretching infinitely around me. Forests that defied comprehension, oceans that sparkled with impossible clarity, and skies painted with hues yet unknown embraced my senses. It was as if nature herself leaned in to whisper her secrets, a realm untainted by humanity's hand, whispering promises of boundless wonder. In this transcendent realm, I stood awestruck, enveloped by a landscape that seemed to pulse with life itself. It was here that I first felt the presence, a majestic entity rising from the harmony of nature, embodying its wisdom and grace. The figure was neither human nor animal, yet possessed the essence of both, an amalgamation of every living thing that has ever graced the earth. The entity shimmered with the iridescence of dew on morning leaves, its form constantly shifting like the patterns of wind over water. Its presence exuded an ancient dignity, a silent testament to the eons it had witnessed. Despite its grandeur, a sense of profound peace radiated from it, reaching into the very core of my being. Words were unnecessary. Our conversation transcended sound, each thought and understanding flowing directly into my consciousness. Josephine, it addressed me, and in that single utterance I felt a connection deeper than any earthly bond. You tread on paths both visible and unseen. Today, you encounter truth beyond the veil. As our minds intertwined, the entity began to impart knowledge that I once considered beyond my comprehension. It spoke of humanity's intertwined fate with nature, the delicate balance that sustains life. I saw the roots of trees interlocking beneath the soil, the rhythm of tides influenced by celestial pull, all part of an intricate dance of existence. You are stewards, the entity conveyed, not conquerors. Only through harmony can you thrive. Images flashed before me, ancient forests breathing in synchronicity with the heartbeat of the world, rivers coursing through land like veins of the earth itself. With each image, understanding seeped deeper into my spirit. Urgency permeated its message, like the rustle of leaves before a storm. Disregard leads to decay, it warned. The time is short, and the choice is upon you. I felt the weight of its words, a responsibility that reverberated like a distant thunder, urging me to heed the call for change. In this sacred encounter, I felt stripped of every disguise humanity wears, the ego, the doubt, revealed in the light of pure truth. As the entity's wisdom flowed through me, I understood what was needed. A new chapter, one where humans and nature walk in balance, each nurturing the other towards a shared destiny. The entity extended its luminous form toward me, and suddenly the landscape around us shifted. I was no longer standing amidst the untainted beauty of the transcendent realm, but was now gazing upon a tapestry of potential futures unfurling before my eyes. The vision began with scenes of cities sprawling beneath an oppressive gray sky, their once vibrant streets choked under layers of smog. Towering skyscrapers, symbols of human ambition, stood silhouetted against horizons tinged with an unnatural haze. The air itself seemed weighed down, burdened by the invisible consequences of technology pursued without restraint. I watched as people moved through the smog-laden streets, their faces masked, their steps heavy with a weariness born not just of body, but of soul. The entity extended its luminous form toward me, and suddenly the landscape around us shifted. I was no longer standing amidst the untainted beauty of the transcendent realm, but was now gazing upon a tapestry of potential futures unfurling before my eyes. The vision began with scenes of cities sprawling beneath an oppressive gray sky, their once vibrant streets choked under layers of smog. Towering skyscrapers, symbols of human ambition, stood silhouetted against horizons tinged with an unnatural haze. The air itself seemed weighed down, burdened by the invisible consequences of technology pursued without restraint. I watched as people moved through the smog-laden streets, their faces masked, their steps heavy with a weariness born not just of body, but of soul. I beheld communities thriving amidst this resurgence, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of the living earth. Buildings, clothed in greenery, stood proudly as testaments to human ingenuity, harmonized with nature's wisdom. People of diverse backgrounds gathered together, bound by common purpose, their eyes alight with recognition of a shared home to nurture. Technologies, reimagined and repurposed, served as allies in the restoration of a balanced world. Renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and responsible consumption danced gracefully with the cycles of nature, each advancement a note in the symphony of understanding and respect. The juxtaposition of these two potential futures burned vividly in my consciousness. Here lies the fork in your journey, the entity imparted, its voice a beacon of hope amidst the chaos of choice. Destiny is woven by the hands of those who dare to see differently, who choose care over conquest. The vision ebbed and flowed, and as the entity's influence waned, I felt a profound shift within me, a synthesis of fear and hope, despair and renewal. The echo of the entity's wisdom lingered like an indelible mark upon my soul, urging humanity to turn the tide, to embrace the stewardship we once shunned. In that sacred communion, the path ahead shimmered with possibility, each step laden with the weight of responsibility, but buoyed by the promise of renewal. The encounter left me with a profound sense of duty, as if the very fabric of my existence had been rewoven with threads of purpose and urgency. I knew I could no longer remain silent in the face of the looming environmental crisis that had been so vividly revealed to me. Emerging from this life-altering experience, I felt compelled to become a voice for the earth, to inspire a shift in consciousness that resonated far beyond the confines of my own life. The entity's wisdom pulsated within me like an eternal flame, igniting a resolve to advocate for a balance between innovation and nature. I envisioned a movement where individuals embraced the beauty of sustainable living, acknowledging that every small act of conservation contributes to the healing of our planet. Act now, the entity's words echoed in my mind, before the urgency becomes insurmountable. Determined to harness this profound transformation, I set out to weave a new narrative, one that champions ecological awareness and beckons society towards responsible stewardship. I began by engaging with local communities, sparking dialogues about the symbiotic relationship between humanity and nature. With every discussion, I witnessed a burgeoning collective resolve to safeguard the world for future generations. The entity's message became a catalyst for change. I encouraged educators to infuse environmental empathy into school curriculums, partnering with scientists and policymakers to develop technologies that prioritize ecological integrity. Together, we worked towards a model of innovation where the welfare of our planet stood at the forefront of development, and technology served as a bridge, not a barrier. Moreover, I urged individuals to embrace empathy, to see with the heart as much as the mind, fostering a culture where cooperation transcends competition and unity triumphs over division. The realization dawned that the healing of our world begins with understanding the intrinsic connection we share with it and with each other. In this journey, I became but one ripple in a vast ocean of change, yet each ripple holds the potential to shape destinies. The entity had entrusted me with a mission, and now it was up to all of us to listen and act. The call to action is clear, I proclaimed, inviting others to join in this quest for renewal and harmony. It was a clarion call, a collective awakening to our shared responsibility, an invitation to reimagine the future we wish to inherit. The ground slipped from under my feet, and a gasp escaped my lips as gravity took control. As I tumbled down the steep trail, time seemed to stretch and contract, a surreal dance against the backdrop of blurred earth and sky. Within what felt like mere seconds, I was suddenly detached from the chaos. My body lay motionless among the jagged rocks, tangled in the debris of my fall. Yet, impossibly, I hovered above, an invisible observer. Marvel and detachment intertwined within me like vines, weaving through the tapestry of my awareness. I watched, devoid of fear, as though the tangible Josephine was but a distant memory. My sight shifted, drawn upwards as the world around me dissolved into something magnificent. Gone were the familiar peaks of the Rockies. Instead, I was enveloped by nature's majesty, yet unlike anything I had ever seen. The transition was seamless. One moment I was bound to the earth, and the next I was tethered to an ethereal realm. It was as though every vibrant hue of every sunrise and sunset coalesced into a breathtaking panorama stretching infinitely around me. Forests that defied comprehension, oceans that sparkled with impossible clarity, and skies painted with hues yet unknown embraced my senses. It was as if nature herself leaned in to whisper her secrets, a realm untainted by humanity's hand, whispering promises of boundless wonder. As the vision gently receded, a new awareness began to envelop me, a sensation like waking from a profound, enlightening dream. My senses gradually synchronized with the tangible world, the echo of the entity's wisdom, a luminous thread weaving through my consciousness. I found myself hovering above the scene of my fall, watching as my hiking companions scrambled down the ravine, panic etched on their faces, their voices calling my name with growing urgency. A sudden rush surged through me as I felt a tug, as if compelled by an unseen force, pulling me back toward my physical form. With a jolt, I was immersed once again in the world of flesh and bone, the ache of impact a stark contrast to the ethereal serenity I had just left. My body lay nestled among the rocky terrain, yet miraculously untouched by the severity of the plunge. The return felt like a rebirth, a merging of two halves into a newly awakened whole. Coughing and disoriented, I became acutely aware of my companions' relieved voices surrounding me, their hands gingerly helping me to sit up. Their presence was a grounding force, the embodiment of human connection that the entity had emphasized. The fervor of my near-death revelation resonated through me, a clarion bell echoing the entity's teachings, urging me to act with renewed purpose. "Are you okay, Josie?" one friend asked, his concern genuine, eyes searching mine for reassurance. I nodded, the gravity of what had transpired so massive, it rendered words insufficient. Yet within me, a commitment was forged, a resolute determination to honor the insights gifted to me and to infuse my life and work with the clarity of this newfound understanding. As we carefully made our way back down the trail, the surrounding landscape appeared transformed, each leaf, each whisper of wind, infused with underlying life and interconnectedness I'd previously overlooked. My heart swelled with gratitude, not only for a chance to tread upon this earth again, but for the silent pact made with the entity, a pact to bridge the divide between scientific rigor and spiritual enlightenment. Thus, I returned to Denver, imbued with an imperative far greater than any I'd faced before. The entity's message was no longer just a whisper within the folds of my memory. It was an anthem to be shared, a beacon for others seeking guidance amidst the chaos of technological and environmental challenges. The path forward was set, one of advocacy and inspiration, dedicated to transforming the fractured relationship between humanity and the natural world into one of unity and reverence. I awoke to the familiar scent of pine mixed with earth, the gentle rustling of leaves above, and the concerned calls of my hiking companions penetrating the haze of my return. My eyes fluttered open, greeted by faces filled with relief and astonishment. I lay amidst the rocks, oddly unscathed by the fall's ferocity, as if a protective hand had steadied my descent. There was no pain, no injury, only a sense of serene clarity that filled the space within me. The transition from the ethereal realm back to the solidity of the physical world felt both jarring and welcome, a merging of dream and reality. And yet, I was unalterably changed. The vision of the entity and the lessons learned hummed within me, as tangible as the earth that cradled my body, insistent in their call to action. No longer a skeptic, I was now a custodian of a message far greater than myself. My mind buzzed with the import of this profound experience, but I found no words sufficient to capture its magnitude as I was helped to my feet. My companions, puzzled but relieved, marveled at my intact state. They had expected the worst, and instead found me not only whole, but brimming with an unexpected vitality. It was as if this brush with the otherworldly had breathed a new life into me, a spirit rekindled with purpose. The descent back home held a different tenor. Each step on the familiar trail resonated with the reminder of my newfound mission, to act as a bridge between the concrete and the transcendent, between science and the sacred. Through this remarkable journey, I had been entrusted with a vision, not only of urgency, but of hope, a directive to harness my environmental expertise as a beacon for change. As we journeyed back, the haunting splendor of the entity's realm lingered, a vivid imprint urging me forward. Upon returning to the routines of daily life in Denver, I was acutely aware of the subtle interplay between the natural and the artificial, every detail now carrying weight, every decision bearing consequence. I stood at the crossroads of understanding, determined to integrate the wisdom I had received with the empirical rigor of science. My return was not to silence, but to proclamation, a call to witness and to act. It was time to illuminate the path toward sustainable harmony, drawing upon the collective creativity and responsibility of humanity. I felt charged with the responsibility of bridging data with divine insight, a synthesis that might just alter the landscape of our environmental consciousness. In the stillness of that moment on the trail, I had been delivered a mandate. And now, back among the tangible world, I understood it was my role to light the way with truth and dedication, rallying others to the cause of regeneration, not just for the earth, but for the very soul of humanity. My return was my rebirth, as an ally of nature, a steward of hope, dedicated to ensuring that the whispers of the transcendent realm were heard by all.